guys, it's Arron, engaged to Spider-Man 2 Turner here, back with another MCU ranking, my annual ranking this time. Now here's the thing, there is a total of 8 projects this year, but because 5 of them have already been included in my Phase 5 ranking that I did last year, I really don't want to beat a dead horse at this point and repeat myself a bunch of times, so I want to try to make this video as short as I possibly can. Now, not only am I going to be ranking the 2025 projects, like last year, I'm also going to be giving my thoughts on the upcoming projects that are coming out in 2026 after the ranking. That's probably going to be the longer part of the video, but I want to, like I said, make this ranking as short as possible. So let's just get right into it. So at number 8, the worst MCU project of 2025 is Ironheart. This probably doesn't come as a shock to most people. Ironheart is a frustrating show because you can see glimmers of brilliance, actually, in the writing and in the character of Riri Williams. As I've stated in my review, Riri has had the potential to be a really interesting character and is different from your typical MCU character, MCU main character, in that she's a gray character. She's morally gray. And that can make for an interesting show, but the problem is that the rest of the show is not very good. The villain, Red Hood, I think his name is, terrible, very weak motivation. Mephisto, Sacha Baron Cohen as Mephisto, I've said before, really great, but yeah, the show itself is really not very good. So at number 7 is the project that is pretty much just as bland as Ironheart, but is just a tad of a step up. Number 7 is Captain America: Brave New World. Yes, this is the worst MCU movie of 2025, and no one is surprised by this. I think everyone is in agreement of what the worst movie was. The best movie is up for debate, which I'll get into, but yeah, Brave New World, this movie it's a shame because this movie really could have been really good. The characters, it includes, could have made for an interesting movie. You have Sam Wilson, officially, finally Captain America, and it's got some cool action. You have Sidewinder, played by Giancarlo Esposito, but he's wasted. But again, that could have been an interesting character, but they do nothing with him. You have Harrison Ford playing Thaddeus Ross. Again, could have been good. And then to add to that, he becomes Red Hulk at the end of the movie. Again, could have been good. This whole movie, the leader could have been a really good villain, but all he does is like, oh, calculations. There was a 0.76 of this probability of this happening, percent of this whatever. What the fuck? Like, this could have been one of the best, dare I say, one of the best MCU villains, but he's an absolute joke, and his design sucks. I really wish they would have done the original design, which they revealed what the original design was supposed to be, which was supposed to give him, like, the giant, like, head. But, again, unlike MODOK in that movie that shall not be named, you all know what I'm talking about. They're trying to go comic accurate with MODOK, but it doesn't work for that movie. But with the leader, if you actually look at his design, I'll put a picture up, but if you look at his original design, it actually doesn't look that bad, despite the fact that it's comic accurate, and yeah, it's a little goofy, but it doesn't really look that bad. But then you have his design they went with for the final movie, and it's just boring. It's just like his brain is exposed. But my point is, with all of the characters in this movie, you know, Thaddeus Ross, Red Hulk, the Leader, Sidewinder, Sam Wilson becoming Captain America, or, you know, or like officially a Captain America. This movie could have been great, but it just ends up being underwhelming and not a movie that I care to go back to. At number 6, which is again a slight step up, is Eyes of Wakanda. Now, I am well aware that this got a lot of praise when it came out. Apparently, there's a lot of people who really liked it. I liked parts of it. You know, episode 3 was a highlight for me with Iron Fist. That was a really fun episode. Episode 2 was boring as fuck. I did not care at all for episode 2. Episode 1 had some fun action, and, you know, fun idea of like a rogue Wakandan, you know. Episode 4 was the time travel episode, which was pretty good, but overall, I mean, I don't know, it just made for a little bit of an inconsistent show overall for me. So I don't think every episode is great, and that's really why it is number 6 for me. I love the animation style, beautiful, but there was just a lot of the majority of the projects were better this year, in my opinion. Number 5 might surprise some people, but it is Daredevil Born Again Season 1. This is a show that initially, when it first came out and the episodes wrapped up, and, you know, as I was watching it, I was like, fuck yeah, this is awesome. You know, not as good as the Netflix show, but still pretty fucking cool. And then, you know, as time went on, you know, I just had to take my hype glasses off and kind of, you know, step back and think, wow, you know, it really wasn't that great. Born Again suffers from having 2 different sets of writers because, you know, they had like the pre-overhaul shit, which wanted to make it a reboot, and then the post-overhaul team wanting to make it season 4. It doesn't work well. Foggy is killed off. Karen is bye-bye, you know, nowhere to be seen until the finale. It's just so inconsistent, and it's so weird. The new characters suck. Episode 8 and 9 are genuinely good episodes, and the first episode is really great because that was the post-overhaul team. All the episodes in between that are the pre-overhaul team, the weird reboot show, and it just doesn't work. Episode 5 especially is weird because it doesn't connect to any other episode, and it's just Matt and Kamala's dad at a, you know, saving some hostages at a bank, and it's like, why is this episode here? It's so puzzling. And again, I praised the episode for like including references to Miss Marvel and Kamala's dad because it's like the Netflix show didn't really have a lot of connections to the outside, to the other MCU stuff. But again, now that I think about it now, yes, I do think it's fun to include other MCU characters, but it doesn't work for this season. It really doesn't. It's just a very inconsistent watch. I love that they took advantage of the TVMA rating, you know? Thank you, Mickey Mouse, but I'm sorry, I mean, it's still not satisfactory. At number 4 is the Fantastic Four First Steps. I swear I did not do this on purpose, but, you know, funny haha. First Steps. So, yes, this is not my favorite MCU movie of 2025. Some people might disagree with this, and honestly, I'm not gonna argue with you if you think that this is the best movie, but I really like First Steps. Obviously, it's easily the best Fantastic Four movie we've gotten so far. They get each of the characters right this time. I love the visuals, the 60s aesthetic, really great. Silver Surfer is great. Galactus looks great. I think my big issue with this mainly stems from the ending. Kind of that final battle. Like I said, Galactus looks great, but it's just that the ending, the finality, is a little bit too predictable for me, and I think that's what kind of hinders some of my enjoyment with this movie. You know, I'll give you guys this: the finality to the movie is okay, but the rest of the movie is fantastic.
Say that again?
So if you weren't happy with number 4, then get ready for a doozy of an opinion, because number 3 is Marvel Zombies. I've heard that a lot of people did not like this show, but this is another one of those times where I have to disagree with the majority. I liked this show because it did something a little different, where it actually has what would normally be annoying as fuck humor, fucking the constant quips from the characters, but it actually makes sense, in my opinion, for the characters to be joking, and it's got cool zombie deaths. It does not have a happy ending. I liked that. While I do think Spider-Man should have been the main character, I think having Kamala Khan be the main character works well. And I like that she's the only character, as far as I remember, she's the only character that appears in all 4 episodes. So you're kind of seeing the story from her perspective, and that makes it more tragic, because like she has to watch a lot of the people around her turn into zombies, and it's effective that way, having a single main character. They easily could have made like all of the survivors the main characters, but having one main character for this show actually it serves as an effective way to tell the story. At number 2 is my favorite MCU movie of the year, Thunderbolts The New Avengers. So yeah, I just want to clarify, I think this is a little better than Fantastic Four. It is. I did also say that this movie was predictable, but it's more. I got more enjoyment out of Thunderbolts, The New Avengers, because I guess I really enjoyed the characters. I just liked that the characters were all villains who are losers. They even, I think Yelena even says, like, we're all losers. And I like what they did with that. I mean, it's you really feel for the majority of the characters. Bob and Sentry and the Void, fucking cool. I love the Void, and you enter the Void, and it brings you to like some dark period of your life. The villain was great. The themes of mental health and depression are really good. Really fun action, just cool fucking movie. That's always how I describe this movie. It's cool and it's fun. It's the best MCU movie, but not the best MCU project, because number 1, the best MCU project of 2025, surprising me, is Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man Season 1. This was a huge surprise for me, because I did not think this show was looking good based on the trailers, but pretty good. There's some problems here and there. It's not perfect. It's not the best Spider-Man animated series. Not even close, in my opinion. But it is the best we've gotten in a long time, because the previous 2... I mean, that's not really saying much, because the previous 2 animated series, Ultimate Spider-Man and Marvel's Spider-Man, fucking terrible, especially Ultimate Spider-Man. But I'm getting off topic, but Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, it actually reinvents MCU Spider-Man and fixes a lot of my problems with what they did with Spider-Man in the main MCU universe. Animation could be better, which is something that I hope they improve with season 2. But yeah, again, but villains, I love what they did with Lonnie, mirror image to Peter, great. So that was the MCU in 2025 ranked. This year was pretty good for the MCU. Some mediocre projects, but overall the majority of them were really good. You know, you got Ironheart and Brave New World, which fall into just mediocrity I don't care about. Eyes of Wakanda and Born Again both fall into the same category for me, where it's like there's a lot of good elements of those shows, but overall I just didn't love it. Just inconsistent. And then you have the top 4, Fantastic Four, Marvel Zombies, Thunderbolts, The New Avengers, Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, which were all mostly really good. So yeah, I've said it before, but the MCU is heading in the right direction. But now it's time for me to talk about the upcoming 2026 MCU projects. So I'm going to start in chronological order of release. So starting in January, and it'll run till March, is the Wonder Man show. Now, the Wonder Man show was originally supposed to come out in December, but it ended up getting delayed, so yeah. Wonder Man, I don't really care for it. I guess it's like supposed to be a satire on superhero shows. It's a TV show that is about the making of a superhero TV show. It's like this guy is auditioning for the part of Wonder Man, and also Trevor Slattery, who played the Mandarin in Iron Man 3, is here. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, Wonder Man is like a fictional superhero in this universe. It could be good, you know. It's not a horrible concept, of course, but it's just one of those projects where I don't know much about Wonder Man, and as a result, I'm just not very excited for this. But you know, at least it's the project that is you get out of the way first if you're not really anticipating it, and then you look forward to more exciting projects later on in the year. Next up, starting in March, we are getting Daredevil Born Again Season 2, and this is probably tied with Spider-Man Brand New Day as being my most anticipated project. We don't got any more of that reboot shit. This is just the post-overhaul team working on Season 2 now, so it's probably going to be a lot better. We are getting the return of Jessica Jones in this season, possibly even Luke Cage and Iron Fist, although I don't know, it hasn't been confirmed yet. Yeah, just the return of a lot of the old Netflix characters, so has a lot of potential. Very excited for it. I again, this time when I review it, I will try not to let hype get in my way, and I'll try to just like actually judge it unbiased. Next in July is the big one, you know, Spider-Man Brand New Day. So, like I said, this is tied with Born Again Season 2 as my most anticipated project. And the reason why is because I think Brand New Day has the potential to be really good. But the thing with Born Again Season 2 is that I think it's more likely to end up being really good compared to Brand New Day. Because the thing with Brand New Day is that, you know, we've been hearing so many different things about Brand New Day, and to me, at least in my opinion, it's like they announce something that sounds really good, and then it's almost always followed by something that sounds not so good. So as a result, even though I'm excited for the potential of Brand New Day, I'm also very worried because it sounds like it's going to be a clusterfuck mess of epic proportions. So hopefully they will be able to balance everything. The movie has changed a lot since the last time I talked about it. We're now getting the Hulk in the movie, and the Punisher, and Tombstone now, and Scorpion. Like, holy shit. Also, MJ and Ned are also coming back, confirmed to have cameos in the movie, although they won't remember who Peter is, of course. It's like, holy shit, like, how are you, it's gonna be hard to balance all this stuff. Potentially Daredevil might have a role, a small role in this movie. Hasn't been confirmed yet, but... And then, of course, you have Sadie Sink cast in the movie, but we still don't know who the fuck she's playing. At first, people assumed it was Gwen Stacy, but then it's like, okay, Sadie Sink is a redhead, so many people are also saying, oh, maybe she's playing a more comic accurate Mary Jane. And then there was like, I think I heard a rumor at one point that like could be playing the Punisher's daughter. Correct me if I'm wrong, I think I heard that. And then, you know, there's people saying that she also could be playing Jean Grey of the X-Men, another redhead. And of course, Marvel is keeping Sadie Sink's role top secret, apparently. There's pictures of her on the set, but like she's covered up, so you can't see what she's wearing underneath. So they really are trying to hide Sadie Sink's character for whatever reason. So obviously she has a big role not only in Brand New Day, but in the MCU in general, because it was later confirmed that Sadie Sink is going to be in Avengers Secret Wars. So at that point, it kind of went from, okay, she could be playing some Spider-Man character, to now that she's in Secret Wars, okay, this is a much bigger character now, potentially not even the Spider-Man character necessarily, but just someone who's connected to the overall multiverse and has a huge role in that. Who the fuck knows? If I had to place my money, again, let's run down our options here, okay? Gwen Stacy, Mary Jane, the Punisher's daughter. I've also heard Carly Cooper potentially, but, you know, who the fuck knows who Carly Cooper is other than fans of the comics? Because that's an obscure-ass character. Jean Grey of the X-Men. There's also been a rumor, this was a rumor early on, but she also could be potentially playing Mayday Parker, the daughter of Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man and Kirsten Dunst's Mary Jane. So that's another rumor. So, you know, you have so many different options. I'm going to run down the rumors, and I'm going to tell you what I think, how likely they are. Okay, first of all, Gwen Stacy. I don't think that's likely because, for one, the fact that she's in Secret Wars, I don't believe that the character of Gwen Stacy, whether she's Spider-Gwen or not, is really going to have that big of an effect if they put her in Secret Wars. So I really don't think that if they're making this as big of a deal as it is, I don't think that means it's Gwen Stacy. Mary Jane, I highly doubt it. I don't think that they do like another Mary Jane when Zendaya is supposedly supposed to be MJ in these movies. So I also don't think that's likely. The Punisher's daughter, I don't think that's likely, because why the fuck would the Punisher's daughter be in Secret Wars? Like, what does that matter? So yeah, Carly Cooper, I already said, too obscure of a character, so I don't think that she had a role in the Brand New Day storyline in the comics, which is why a lot of people think it's Carly Cooper, but I highly doubt that, so too obscure. Jean Grey of the X-Men and Mayday Parker. Those are the two that I'm betting on the most, because they seem like the most likely in terms of the multiverse. Because you have to think about it from the perspective of, okay, Sadie Sink's character is both in Brand New Day and the huge multiverse movie Secret Wars. So clearly this is not just some Spider-Man character. It's a much bigger character than that involves the multiverse. So that's why it's either Jean Grey or Mayday Parker or some other guess, I don't know. However, between Jean Grey and Mayday Parker, if I had to lean towards one, I'd probably say Mayday Parker, because Jean Grey is not a Spider-Man character. That's an X-Men character. So why would they set her up in a Spider-Man movie? That doesn't really make much sense. Like, I know that the Hulk is going to be in it, and that's not a Spider-Man character, but, you know, we all know that, like, I guess it's part of the Disney-Sony contract that Spider-Man Homecoming had Iron Man, Far From Home had Nick Fury, and No Way Home had Doctor Strange. So that's kind of part of their contract, I guess. So that's why the Hulk is in it. But it's like, Sadie Sink, like, if she's an X-Men character, like, why would they introduce her in a Spider-Man movie? That makes no sense. So I think it's Mayday. Out of the out of the rumors. I'm just saying, I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying, you know, it could be another character that we don't know. But Mayday makes the most sense because there's rumors. I don't know if it's a rumor or if it's actually confirmed. I can't even remember that Tobey Maguire is going to be in Doomsday. So if it's Mayday, that would make even more sense because it makes sense. She's both a Spider-Man character and a character that has to do with the multiverse. But anyway, sorry, I was getting a little bit off topic. Like I said, I'm excited for Brand New Day, but I'm also worried that it's gonna have too much shit in it and they're not going to be able to balance everything. I said something similar about No Way Home, so, you know, you never know. I'm certainly interested to see this movie because if they can pull this movie off, this could be a reinvention of Tom Holland's Spider-Man in the MCU, similar to what Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man did, but actually have it, you know, in continuity this time, and he's alone now. Nobody knows who he is. He's doing stuff independent. He's not fucking relying on other superheroes. And yeah, we're gonna see him potentially fight the Hulk. Like, Savage Hulk is coming back. He's not Smart Hulk. Fight the Punisher. That's gonna be fucking awesome. I really want to see Spider-Man and the Punisher in live action, so that's really cool. And Tombstone and Scorpion sounds awesome. So again, if they can manage to stick the landing, stick because it's Spider-Man, if they can manage to stick the landing, it could potentially be one of the best Spider-Man movies. Now, around the same time as Brand New Day, we're also getting that Punisher special presentation. It doesn't have an official release date, but it's apparently coming out in mid-2026. Very close to Brand New Day then, so it's because that's coming out in July. So I don't know if this is coming out before Brand New Day or after Brand New Day. I'm wondering what the continuity is going to be, because we know that the Punisher special continues off of that post-credit scene where Frank breaks out at the end of Born Again Season 1. So obviously this special is taking place after Born Again, but Punisher is also going to be in Brand New Day, so I'm just curious as to how that's going to line up. So yeah, but Punisher special presentation sounds cool. John Bernthal is very passionate about the Punisher character, and he wants to make sure that, you know, you get violent Punisher, and that it's not like kiddied down. So he's very passionate, and that's great because he has a lot of involvement in the special presentation. I'll talk about the next two projects together because they're both scheduled to be released at some point in late 2026, and that is Vision Quest, which I don't really care about, and Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man Season 2. I don't need to say anything about Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. You guys know I'm excited for Season 2. Venom, Gwen Stacy's going to be in it as Spider-Gwen, so yeah, that'll be interesting. I'm kind of worried for what they'll do with that, but again, Season 1 was good, so, you know, I'm interested to see what they'll do. Vision Quest is like the third in the trilogy of WandaVision, like WandaVision and then Agatha All Along, and now Vision Quest. Apparently it's going to have a lot of AI concepts in it. Vision, Ultron is going to be coming back. Again, all these projects could be good, but this is probably the one that I'm looking forward to the least because I just don't really care about this story. And finally, the last project we're getting in December, Avengers Doomsday. This is not my most anticipated. I've said in the past that I am very worried for this film because it's a fucking huge film with a shit ton of characters. And similar to Brand New Day, it's going to be hard to balance everything. Joe and Anthony Russo, who directed a lot of previous MCU films, a lot of the big crossover films are coming back. So that is a good sign because, you know, they know what they're doing based on Infinity War and Endgame. But at the same time, it's like, you kind of have to think, can they really capture lightning in a bottle twice? Infinity War and Endgame are both great, for the most part. I mean, you know, I have my opinions about those movies, but Doomsday and Secret Wars, you know, they gotta wrap up the multiverse saga, soft reboot for the MCU. Oh boy, it's gonna be, it's a certainly a challenge. There's gonna be like different teams. There's gonna be the Fantastic Four in it, the New Avengers, the official Avengers, and then like Bucky's Avengers, and then the Wakandans, the X-Men coming back. So yeah, I don't think that Doomsday, it's likely going to be probably a good movie, but the question is, how good is it going to be? Is it going to be kind of messy at parts? But that's all the upcoming projects. I know this video is probably very long, even though I said I was going to make it short, but that happens every single time. But I at least wanted to make the ranking short. Feel free to let me know what your favorite project this year was and the project you're most looking forward to in 2026. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in the next video. Have a good night.